So one of the questions it's always interesting is that certain people, and arguably for the roadmap stuff I'm doing, it's still within its first like 2 years. But for you, how did you like find like the first, say, 2 years setting up, and how is that different to where you are now?
Well, I've done this journey twice. So I'll briefly, the first journey was awful. I had a business that went straight into construction. So I carpet cleaned. That was my entry into cleaning. I became one of the best in the area, but it was such a quick process of moving into having a company.
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn everything. I had to learn how to recruit staff, how to HR them, how to absolutely everything to do with the business. And we grew at such a rapid pace. Our first year revenues were 65,000 in that business, but the second year were 365,000.
Wow.
And then I sold it. So we grew at such a massive rate, and our profit margins were great because we had no admin support. So I used to get up, and this is crazy, 2 o'clock in the morning, to do all the admin. I had a business partner and she predominantly looked after the day-to-day. But I used to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, do all of the admin, sort out my niece because I did my phone's going off, did the babysitting because my sister was on night shift, and then I'd shower. I'd get the baby sorted. I'd take her to nursery for 7:25, so I could pick the staff up at 7:30, so we could get to site for 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. Clean all day, come back in, pick the baby up, and it was just so intense. What I will say is, in that business journey, because we ran at such a rapid pace, and it was still predominantly learning how to do the job, how to bring staff in. We hadn't structured the business. There was loads that we didn't get process and procedures for. Now we've got HR support, legal advice, an FD working for the business, bookkeepers. I've got a business development assistant, an operations assistant. We've got team leaders, training leaders, cleaners. Yeah. We've got so many layers of structure that takes away and gives me so much support. Jumping into the third year of this second business, but I've learned all of those lessons. This is on to like year 7 of business, but I've took those first 2 years in that business, gone, right, I'm going to do it myself. When that was sold, 6 days after, I had a brand new contract in front of me. All I wanted to do was go traveling. I'd made some cash. I was fucking knackered. I don't know if I can swear. Absolutely knackered. And I just wanted to go and have some fun, but I had this contract and I couldn't ignore it. Yeah. So off I went to Van Monster, got myself a van, off to Screwfix to get some ladders and hop-ups, off to Home Bargains to get some cleaning stuff, and straight down to Newton Aycliffe to do 6 flaming bill cleans. We were fully booked within day 1. I had 3 staff on the books already. We were already turning over 6 figures within day 1 of setting up.
I'm still shocked that the people who bought the business didn't put restrictive covenants in to stop you doing that.
It would have been very expensive, but they didn't. So, and good for them. And they're still trading, very much local, and I'm very much in competition with them now. So it's given me a healthy drive to go, okay, well, that business is amazing because I created it, but actually there's no systems, there's no procedures, and there's no structure. So I'm going to be better. Watch this space. We smashed those first 2 revenues in the first 2 years. And we've doubled that again. We're continuing to rise and we're just going absolutely crazy.
Can I ask
But I've now learned how to do it by myself, which I didn't learn to do in the first 2 years. Yeah. So your journey's never over. And I think it's only now looking back that I thought, I can do it all by myself. Oh, no. And I've took some key people to come and help me. There's a few key people in the business right now that have worked on the ground and helped look after the day-to-day for such a long period of time. We definitely would not be there without that. Would not be there without them at all. So, it's been very staged. 40 steps forward and 60 backwards all the way. Crazy.
It's genuinely, it's a really impressive story. It just is.
Thanks.
And it's just, I can feel the setbacks, and I can tell it hasn't been an easy journey. No. Do you know what I mean? And it's that process that I get it. And I think, but ironically, I think that's what makes the best entrepreneurs and people are actually, and, again, I'm going to throw out more stereotypes, but I also know people that, grew up with 2 parents and went to Cambridge and got the first job and aced it and got the second job and never had a single setback. And then when actually things do come and happen, you can be a bit of a snowflake where they don't
Yeah.
know how to just grit down and just fight through it in a way that you had to.
Yeah.
And it's just, I genuinely think that if you've been through a tough time, it almost gives you a superpower that if you have that resilience to kind of keep going, I think
it's that element of self-sacrifice though as well, I think, and I'm still very much practicing it day to day. I mean, I'm becoming a little bit more of a princess, I'm not going to lie. Life's got a bit nicer, but I think that period of you've already sacrificed all through your life. So to make it really work, keep sacrificing and keep sacrificing. We didn't get paid more than £1,000 for 2 to 3 years as we set this up, and the business was getting really rich, and I couldn't even afford, I had to get tenants in, I had to get lodgers in just to pay the rent and all the rest of it. So that self-sacrificing to keep pushing forward, and you end up in, you just can't get rid of that. You can do anything if you've experienced that sacrifice and the continuing of the self-sacrificing. Then you're so resilient, you can deal with anything. I cry all the time though, but I can still do it. But it's so true. People who have all this backup and support can't handle if something really, really bad happens, or even if something little happens, it's too much. But some people have said to me, I'm quite not emotional. Is it emotionally detached? I'm not. I'm definitely not. However, I know what deserves my energy. And I know if I'm looking at someone who's got princess title, and sorry for anyone who might consider himself that, I am now developing that. Yeah. But in the same vein, I can't react to everybody else's emotional energy enough for them to think that I'm not emotionally connected. I am. I'll go home and cry, but I'll wake up and move on. And that just is what it is. You've got to deal with it, haven't you?